friends, do you remember the story of the Good Samaritan? In this story, they saw a man beaten and left for dead on the side of the road. But the Levite and the priest didn't stop to help him. Instead, they chose to walk around him. But the Samaritan, when he saw the man, the Bible says he took pity on him. So he bandaged up his wounds and he transported him somewhere safe to be further taken care of. When Jesus wraps up the story, he asks, which of the three was a neighbor to the man who was left on the side of the road? The obvious answer is the Samaritan. The Samaritan, who wasn't even the same race as the man on the ground, was only a neighbor because of what he did, how he reacted, how he served, how he saw a need and gave of his time, energy, and resources. It's not about proximity. You're only a neighbor when you do neighborly things. How relationally close you are to someone does not define you as a neighbor. To be a neighbor always requires an action. Just because someone lives next door to you does not mean that they are your only neighbor. Just because someone sits next door to you in the cubicle at work does not mean that they are your only neighbor. The biblical understanding of being a neighbor is doing neighborly things. Jesus was asked, "Who is my neighbor?" As always, Jesus doesn't answer the question. Instead, he spins the parable around and he asks the questioner, which man proved himself to be a neighbor? You and I don't have neighbors. Every day, we must prove ourselves to be a neighbor. You're only a neighbor when you do neighborly things. It's not about proximity. Now that you know what being a neighbor is, prove to be a neighbor today. Or, as Jesus says at the end of the parable, go and do likewise.